Will they stay on the same side? Do we have an update on that one?
They will be.
Look. So, don't need to wait. Draft's ready.
Yeah, Bahrain. We've done that a few times tonight.
Almost copped me a couple of times.
Bahrain
with that, yep.
On the blue side and Palestine on the red side. Let's take a look at the bands first, and then we'll get into the discussion around the team compositions. But could be anybody's guess, couldn't it, Mac, really, as to what we might get here?
Yeah, well, that Skarner band coming through again. So it's funny that that's through, even though Voodoo has been taken out for Panda. They're just still getting rid of the Skarner. It must be something in the region, something in the water that people want to pick that one. Milio going to be banned straight away for Team Bahrain, and then into the Orn. So they seem to be respecting that Orn pick from Crunk. Don't want to be running into that Mega Tank. You saw what he was able to do on the Shen, which, started a bit weak, but he managed to scale up into the game very nicely once the team factor started to activate.
Any Lucian bans here from Bahrain?
Not yet.
Did struggle quite substantially with the Lucian. Maybe they're not hoping to pick the Senna Chobe or the Senna Galio bot, so I kind of just think they picked themselves into a counter match up there, honestly. But have left the Lucian open this time around in favor of banning out the Senna, so don't want to deal with any Senna shenanigans on the other side of the field. So Zach instantly picked up once again.
Yeah. And let's see if that's going to be fun for fun, or if it's going to be Panda in the jungle bouncing around as the blobby boy. Now, time for Team PLE, Team Palestine, to pick up their first selection. What champ are we going for?
They could just go straight into the Lucian Milio again if that's what they want to be doing.
Well, definitely not Milio. That's banned.
Oh, okay, that's true. Lucian Nami would have been a good option. But anyway, it is going to be Poppy. Seen a lot of Poppy actually from Palestine at this event so far, so very much onto a comfort champion, and going to be a little bit annoying for the Zach.
Yeah. It'll be interesting for sure. We've seen a good amount of Poppy, and it's been piloted pretty well every single time. Zaya going to be picked up straight away, so looks like Skip going to be trying to move backwards more than forwards this time, letting those feathers fly.
Yeah.
What are we going to see happen towards that bot lane for Team Bahrain?
It's certainly a different approach to the game than when you're playing the Lucian, so already a couple of differences in the draft here for Palestine. I mean, you have so many strong picks still available here. You've got the likes of, Nico's not banned. You've got Vi on offer. You've got Cassante on offer.
Yumi's there.
But it'll be
Cassante, as you said.
The Kai'Sa instead.
LeBlanc not banned in the first phase this time, so a chance for that to be picked up. Go for the static Shiv build, but we got GP, so we got an ADC, we got a jungler, and we got a top laner. But that top laner, is it going mid? Is the jungle actually going top? Are we getting baited? Because we certainly could be.
Don't actually mind the Zaya Rakan lane here if that's going to be the option of choice for Palestine. Kai'Sa is one of those shorter range carries, so the Rakan should have easy access into those fights. But instead, how could we not have predicted Dr. Mundo, Mac? I'm not sure.
I don't know why we haven't even said that yet. But Mundo, of course, has a lot of presence up in that top lane. Crunk going for some slightly off-meta picks here, and let's see if it's going to work. Might be able to synergize well. Might just be able to live forever. Split up a storm. And also, look, his attempt at being that front line as well wasn't really what happened. We did see Palestine doing that. So, who knows? Could it be Mundo in the jungle?
I suppose that is possible.
Poppy
possible, but
Poppy support, I don't know.
Wouldn't really make much sense.
It's hard to draft, isn't it?
It wouldn't really make much sense.
You don't know where anything's going.
I mean, I think we can be pretty sure that this is going to be Poppy in the jungle, just because it has been a go-to for Palestine. We expect Mundo off in the top lane. As a result, it's Leona and Lulu bans here for Palestine, so just trying to restrict the options of Bahrain. They might even decide to pick their support right here just to take another one away. Rakan and Cass on the other side of the field. Not sure about that Cassiopeia ban so much. I think if we were going to see the Cassiopeia, it would probably be if he skipped down in the bot lane. He already had Desire, so maybe not a necessary ban, but either way, we've gotten rid of it. Oh, Pike. That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun for sure. Keen to see what Yusuf is going to be able to do on that one. And where are we going here? So Victor going to be picked up, but this time for Gashi, not for Ashbar. And that's going to be a heavy source of that AP damage. Of course, we can see Fun barely have to leave the lane with the GP. He can just drop those ults in, get those assists, get those kills if he needs to.
It's got to be a support pick, unless we're going to see a support Zach, which, you know, I do kind of rate. Like, I think it's not a bad choice. But
is he a Blitzcrank? Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind the Blitz, actually. I think Blitz into this matchup is... It's an interesting one. It's like that. It's sort of a similar kind of a concept as the Blitz into the Thresh, where the Thresh is, you know, obviously takes a little bit longer to channel his hook. The same can be said for the Pyke. So if Pyke doesn't find a good engage, Blitz actually can be a bit of a problem for him.
Akali going to get locked in. So heavy AP damage coming through from Ashbar. Crunk up top going to be pretty much untouchable. So I'm really liking how this front to back is going to work. You've got Akali for the flank angle as well for Team Palestine. I feel like team fight wise, they should be fine. But look, there's a lot of damage for Team Bahrain. So we'll see how they're going to be able to go in the team fights, of course. They don't have too much of a front line. There is going to be that Zac drawing a lot of attention. Blitzcrank as well can maybe go for that pick approach. But it's going to be hooks on both sides of that bot lane. It'll be interesting to see how much fun we're going to have down there and who's going to be having the fun.
Big question marks. Yeah, bot lane very much looks like a skill matchup. Which support can have more of an impact, who can hit the better hooks and who can have more relevant hooks as well. You know, it's one thing to be able to hit your abilities, but it's another thing sometimes, particularly with the Blitz, to hit relevant hooks.
It feels like we're going back a couple of seasons in the meta with this Mundo up against Gangplank. I feel like we were seeing that pretty often, maybe a year, maybe even 2 years ago now. But these days, not so much unless you're playing ranked. So interesting to see how that's going to work. Poppy up against the Zac is going to be interesting as well. Palestine, you can see he loves to play these tanks, loves to play these bruisers, and loves to get up in the grills of his opponents, just soaking up that damage. He did a great job with the volley before. And Poppy is even more tanky. So we'll see how that is going to activate. I'm more surprised. All my eyes are certainly looking towards Yusuf. I want to see what the Pyke's going to be able to do here.
I'm going to be interested to see whether or not we get an invade from either of these teams in this game.
Yeah.
Haven't really seen too many invades at this event so far, but, you know, Blitzcrank definitely great on the invade. Pyke also really strong on the invade. So, few options.
Well, momentarily we are about to find out. Rift time, game time. Let's see where we're heading. Crazy Giga Chad skin on the Giga Chad himself, Dr. Mundo, and Zac as well. Looking a little purple. Infernal Drake going to be the first one of the game. First objective there. We'll see if there's going to be prior put on that, but it's West Asia, so maybe not.
All right, let's find out. Looks like just as the teams are working their way out of base, they have grouped up towards the bottom tri-bush for Bahrain.
They're waiting for that invade.
Not going to get it. This is exactly where you want to be seeing everybody standing as well for Palestine if you're trying to avoid an invade. No holes in the defense.
Palestine going to go for the blue item instead of the green, so doesn't want the tenacity, doesn't want that extra shield, feels like he's tanky enough and goes for the move speed instead.
I think that's fair enough, right? Poppy likes to be pretty zippy around the map.
Yeah.
It's always important to have that extra move speed. She does have some inherently in her kit, but a little bit extra doesn't go astray. So ultimately we don't see the invade, but we may see some shenanigans down there in bot. It looked like Bahrain was trying to set themselves up a trap, but easily negotiated by Palestine, which might have been a good thing, to be honest. I think the Pyke and the Xayah might actually win the level 1 fight, although Exhaust and Ignite available for Onda and Dynamo may have something to say about that. Still, we won't have to find out.
Yeah, I was looking at the map there. I was waiting for one of those little images to get hooked into the river, but it didn't quite happen. And now the fun begins. Top to bot clear for both of our junglers. Palestine going Raptors red into the Krugs.
Why wouldn't you go top to bot when you've got a Pyke or a Blitzcrank support?
Exactly.
Have to be playing toward that lane. It's going to be extremely volatile, and as a jungler, you're going to need to spend as much time down there as possible. Krugs already struggling up in top.
That's games back-to-back where he's had to be a melee champ into a range champ, so things are not going to be fun for him, but at least he's got a whole bunch of health to play around this time. be less squishy than the Shen. Yusuf warding up that tri-bush at a nice time. So
ooh, early gank.
Caught out by Panda, but yeah, it's going to be this red side clear into the top gank. Palestine going to be walking on in. Fun going to be baited here. Thinking, why is Crunk hanging around? He is going to just go all in and try to get that last hit. Crunk's play this one really damn well. Trying to keep Fun around here, but Palestine might not have that damage. Will at least get a lot back. But Fun now thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to win this 1v2. He just stands and delivers.
Crunk just gives up way too much HP before that invade actually happens. A hook on offer there for Yusuf. Will deny the ward kill from Panda, which is kind of annoying if you're the Zac. So good little usage there from Yusuf. And immediately we've got another small advantage in the bot lane for Palestine as they do shove Bahrain under the tower. Make it a bit harder to CS. They've got them at about half HP. Yusuf could hit another hook here, then we might see some fireworks.
Do love fireworks. Although it is the middle of the day, so they might be hard to see. Well, Team Palestine. Posturing for this one. Ooh, Palestine just couldn't get there in time. And it was a well-dodged hook as well from Team Bahrain. So,
yeah, both flashes down there for Bahrain. If that hook connects, they are done. At least one of them. He was expecting the juke and completely whiffed the hook in the end. Here we go again, though.
Oh, blink and you'll miss it. In comes Panda, trying to save the day, but he's not going to be able to save Onda. It's up to Dynamo to try and make this one happen. Yusuf damn low. Panda wants it, and he's going to be able to find it too. Skip, however, will get that kill on him, so that's going to be much better opposed to the Kaiser of Onda.
He's got to be careful here, man. He can't afford to overcommit to this fight. I know Panda is low, but he still has the revive passive.
Certainly can be deceiving.
Could definitely be chain CC'd if a quick E comes through there from the Zac, and obviously follow up there with the punch from Blitzcrank as well. Skip is playing a really dangerous game here and probably has overcommitted as well. The hook connects. That is going to be a free kill for Onda.
Yeah.
Skip just getting way too greedy for the plate, man.
I feel like, was it the plate or was it the fact that he just didn't keep an eye on that cooldown?
For sure it was the plate. It was for sure. Look how low it was. It was almost there. I mean, you put in all that hard work early, you have a good trade, and then you give it up like that. It's just not ideal.
Yeah. By the way,
interesting from Yusuf. I mean, he's got nothing to do down in bot right now, so he'll just go and have a bit of a look-see around the opposing jungle. Help out Palestine to grab the Raptor camp.
Sports and jungle is roaming together nice and early, especially when you've got this much potential CC, this much threat. It stops Bahrain from pushing too far out in their lanes, and that's exactly what you're going to see. Slow push from everyone. Fun. Happy just to shove this one. Looks like he's going to have a good timing on it as well to try and get a reset off. He has that TP, which he can use around now, but it is going to be stun down towards the bottom lane. Yusuf starting to try and get as much damage as possible. Onda about to fall, and that's going to go straight over to Skip again, so it's great news for Team Palestine, but Yusuf in the meanwhile is going to burn to the Ignite, but it's a 2-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, great stuff. Skip, once again, getting fed. Made a little bit of a mistake, but does make amends for it straight away. As soon as he gets back into lane, big advantage going the way of Palestine off of the back of that. Crunk continues to have difficulties in the top lane, but maybe that's not going to be such a big factor when you've got a 3-in-1 Xayah on your side. So take a look back here at what happened in the end. Yusuf gets hooked in, and this is what I'm talking about. You've got to be hitting the relevant Blitzcrank hooks. A hook onto the Pyke is not exactly what you're looking for there.
Yeah.
I mean, Pyke is a very slippery champion, as is even if you hook him, chances are you don't blow him up straight away. He can get off a rotation of spells, and that's usually enough to say that he's done his job.
Ashbar pretty slippery as well. A lot of slipperiness coming through for Team Palestine, and the Shroud is going to be there for Ashbar to play around. We'll be able to at least try to burst out Gashi, who's hoping that he can create some space between him and Palestine. Now Ashbar going right on in on this one. Palestine going to be able to jump across and pop that passive of the Zac. Gashi trying to keep his teammate alive, but it's all for nothing. Looks like, there we go, Panda falls. But Gashi at least able to live for another second or two.
Gashi cannot stay. You can't
He's got
stay.
no mana. I know. Why is he not backing?
No mana, no HP.
He's greedy for the wave.
Palestine's just going to wrap around the back here and look to kill him.
They could just walk on in. Ashbar might be able to get it done in one shuriken toss. Just creates that extra space. And now Palestine charge against the wall. What are you doing, Gashi?
Well, he's managed to get the stun. onto Palestine, and in the end, he
How's
does
that
at
happen?
least trade 1 for 1. But Mac, the issue there is he's shoved under tower, right? So he's going to lose a wave.
Oh, and Panda going to potentially answer with another Ashbar. As the cooldowns, no dots on him. And now it's the great escape. Will he be able to get away here as the Shroud has that blast cone, and he's just going to get the execution straight on the tower rather than risk the back and getting that kill into someone else.
Fair enough. Bit of a messy exchange in the mid lane.
Yeah.
But still does come away with Palestine favoured at the moment. Everywhere except the top lane, they're doing pretty well for themselves. So a couple of winning lanes and a bit stronger in the jungle. Good early signs.
No flashes anywhere for Team Palestine, so we might see them stay passive for a little while here. And over on the other side, you got Onda, you got Dynamo with their flashes activated after dodging the early hooks. And in comes this gank attempt. Dynamo just trying to get into the right position. Catapult not going to be committed to, but now it's going to be Palestine spotted coming in behind them. And they turn their attentions onto him, even though he is quite tanky. Charge goes into the wall, but Panda's still living. Palestine able to just draw enough attention for Yusuf to walk on in. Skip going to be taking a 1v2 in the meanwhile over towards the bottom of the screen. And he's living for long enough. Panda won't quite go down, and the focus fire just ain't there for Team Palestine.
Yeah, just wait though until Skip is able to get a few items in the back pocket. The amount of space that he's been given right now is just obscene.
Yeah.
And all it's going to take is a completed item for some of these half kills to actually turn into kills, and that's where the game's really going to start to accelerate. So I dare say Palestine is feeling pretty confident about things. They're straight onto the Dragon there as well, looking to further compound their leads.
And Infernal Drake is going to be uncontested. Panda still trying to heal up on everything, going for the clear rather than backing, playing for those objectives. Yes, he's got the ult online, but just doesn't want to fall behind in terms of the CS. Wants to keep those camps on cooldown. Fun. Get some AoE damage onto Crunk. We'll take a turret shot. Crunk thinking about it, but we'll just clear the wave. Doesn't seem like he's backing himself right now. Oh, okay. Barrel not going to be taken out by Crunk, who will create some space, but he's taken a whole bunch of damage here. As the angle has damage. Okay, Fun now. Just trying to make this one work, but he's not going to be able to get away. Ooh, dot. Not happening either way.
Creep auto was very close there for Crunk, but obviously the passive healing on the Mundo keeps him alive. Dynamo going to look for the hook.
They've got the TP on both sides. Surely you just back up, TP back in. Crunk playing a dangerous game hanging around there. But it is going to be the handshake. Ashbar in the meanwhile going to get some extra kills onto himself.
Yep, nice ignite.
Just caught under the tower again.
Cool guys don't look at ignited targets. Just walks away. In the meanwhile, Rip Herald's going to be picked up here as well for Palestine. There's no contest on offer. It is a bit awkward to be leaving Skip alone, but Skip's certainly fine in this 2-on-1.
The thing is, it feels like that Team Bahrain just don't want to run at him. They're too worried about the route coming through from the feathers. And Skip's been very good with his positioning, just setting up that defensive wall. Theoretically, trying to stop Team Bahrain from going on in. It is going to be smited in the end. Palestine as the smite gap up against Panda, who just runs straight into the pit. He's going to hope that Fun can come in, but look at that. Hammer away, and Palestine wants none of it. He's happy just to walk away with the scuttle, with the vision, and Panda can't do a thing about it.
Oh, Gash is going to need to be careful right here. Palestine doesn't quite have the angle, but Yusuf does.
Oh, and there's the heroic charge. Palestine, damn low. Gashi is gone skis.
That's the
and
first
that's
of
Yusuf
many.
as well.
Yusuf with the ulti. Gives a cut over to his friends, over to his pals.
Money for everyone. Nice little way to snowball into the game. We've got Panda, who is thinking about going in there, but will decide against it. And Herald's going to be dropped straight away. There's not enough damage for the plates now, and it looks like Palestine is going to fall. So an overstay for Team Palestine. And now it's going to be the chase on Onda as well. Comes across in the meanwhile and has a lot of damage. Ashbar surely not going to be able to survive here. They see him. They're tracking him in through the Shroud. He'll fall. And they do allow the back to come through from Yusuf.
Yeah, Yusuf didn't have any mana there, so wasn't really able to have an impact on that engagement.
Wasn't very useful.
That's right. So once again, the greed of Palestine just getting ahead of themselves a little bit. kind of keeping Bahrain in this game. Skip going to try to turn this fight back on its head.
Oh, Featherstorm there. Skip, going to flash for it. Hungering, and will find what he needs to.
I don't even know how to get that kill without the flash if he would have used the Featherstorm initially before pulling the feathers back.
Yeah, maybe going forward. Either way. Inches,
help.
centimeters,
Good
might
hook.
matter here. Good damage. Yusuf not going to be able to keep his ADC alive. So good answer from Panda after losing Onda.
Yeah, once again, just not having those clean, untraded fights. Always seems like there's an answer here for Bahrain, even if Palestine feels ahead. It's not by a significant margin. I mean, 600 goals the only difference, but you do have some really significant points of strength that are kind of getting the feed. And of course, League is a game where when you find advantages and you put them onto the same champion, that continues to compound. So when you have one item, that's nice, but having 2, 3, 4, obviously, it's nicer. But instead of having, say, 3 completed items on 3 different champions, having 3 completed items on 1 champion is going to net quite the positive. And in this case, Ajbar and Skip are going to very much be an example of that, as they are starting to get the gold that they need to become the team carries.
Yeah, Ajbar doing great work to stay in the fight this time. Owner going to get caught out. Thought he was safe in his own jungle, but little does he know, Team Palestine are roaming up a storm right now. Yusuf constantly mobile, has Moby boots, so he is fast as anything when he jumps into that ability.
Dragon's up in 20 seconds, not a bad back timing for the bot lane. Yusuf and Ajbar going to come back for the Dragon at full HP. Krunk continues to do his best to try to hold down top, but inevitably is going to have to give that up.
Yeah.
Loves his hard sealer, doesn't he? Had that last game too on the Shen. This is me and ARAMs just forcing it every game. Play that stacking minigame. It's too much fun.
Test those limits, baby. Oh, missed opportunity there. Dynamo hoping that he could get a blind hook. Didn't quite connect. And even if he did, it feels like, as you mentioned, Yusuf has just been so slippery, so hard to kill. And he's just going to play the ward game, stay advanced, to do a bit of reconnaissance, and that Dragon just melted. That Drake in the back pocket, and it is going to be a Mountain Rift, as well as that Mountain Salt. The gold is still super close, only 700 gold in it right now. Team Palestine going to be able to find Panda, who's just jumped onto his red buff. He's got no vision, he's got no shot to live in this one. Passive going to be popped in a moment. He's ulted, he's hoping that maybe he's bought the time, maybe he's going to be able to survive and sustain for long enough. Dynamo Onda, as well as Gashi, you're going to come here in the meanwhile, but Gashi is damn low, will drop that ultimate, which doesn't have enough effect just yet. Ajbar, hoping that he can survive. It is going to be a great turnaround. So Panda has survived for long enough, and not only pops the passive, but he'll come back. He was never finished in Team Palestine. What is that? A 1-for-1.
Yep, ends up being a 1-for-1. Ajbar just able to pick Gashi up on the back end of it. Putting a few too many resources into the tanky blob of Panda. And not enough into those squishier, more high priority targets. Skip could actually keep pushing this bot lane, but ultimately decides to go back to base. Take a look at this one. Yusuf completely whipped both of his abilities, so that's a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
And then wrapped around the backside. So really wasn't involved in this fight at all. It was kind of just 2 champions trying to kill that Zac. Gashi eventually did get finished off, and I think at the end that was probably the best case scenario for Palestine. It meant that Ajbar was kind of the sacrificial lamb to allow the other 2 out.
Yeah.
But also he got at least a kill on his way out as well.
Yeah, Onda cleaning up shop when he has to, for sure, which can enable that scale later on into the game. Of course, has that 1 item now, as opposed to Skip, who is very close to finding himself that 2nd item. Gashi just stealing those camps away. A naughty individual. Oh, bit of a fight over towards that top side. Panda as well, just trying to gank again. Won't be able to land that catapult. Team Palestine should just walk away freely. Herald spawned up now.
Oh, I don't know.
Going to be able to take this one. Yeah, Team Bahrain, they are playing a dangerous game, going for it. Panda hoping that he's going to be able to make it happen. There's smites on both sides, and Team Palestine have finished their smite mini-game. So they will have that smite advantage, and you don't want to be playing that game. So look, a little bit of damage onto the Herald, for free for Palestine. They let Team Bahrain do it. And Crunk as well in a very dangerous position. Now going to be standing in the bombardment. Ashbar looking for damage forward. Shuriken toss. It's not quite there. Big damage now. Palestine falling. He just melted.
Yep, tower damage coming through. Nice lockup from the Zach. Crunk is still here though, looking for some more. And Yusuf hanging around as well. You got to remember, executes can start to come into play here, even though it is a 2-on-3.
Only if they get taken that low. Channeling up the
hook. Angle.
Good angle. Panda, he's quite low now. Oh, Yusuf not going to be able to... He will be able to heal up just in time. Gets that shutdown, gets that execute onto Panda. And Ashbar looking to clean up shop. But again, this Kaiser starting to snowball, starting to get that damage that he needs to. Big kills coming through.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, just look at what Skip's up to. He is
hitting.
He's playing the game the way it's meant to be played. You know, he's not chasing kills or anything like that. He is focusing on those objectives. He's shoved all the way into the mid tower. Got that one down to about half HP. So he's kind of playing PvE at the moment. He was 4-2. He's been 4-2 for a very long time. He's been letting his team do the runaround.
And let's just run it back again. It all started with the Herald. Team Palestine at least able to get that off the back of it. Crunk just throwing a whole bunch of attention. He did really well to survive for this long. Fun drops his ult as well and will fall in the meanwhile. So overall, a great answer from Team Bahrain from this point right here.
Yeah, good luck up from Bahrain. Panda with the lion's share of that job. Ashbar, though, always going to be a bit of a threat here. It would have, I think, in the 2-on-3, once Crunk goes down here, been a little bit better if Ashbar initially took the fight rather than Yusuf, who might have been able to survive a little bit longer and get multiple ultis off. Flash E in there from Palestine. That's going to be the end of fun. Even the oranges aren't going to save you there.
He's a goner. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, again, Skip just farming in mid lane. There's so much going on at top, and Skip doesn't care. Just wants to farm.
He's farming, he's pushing, he's shoving. He used that ult just to escape, just to fall away and clean up a couple more of those minions. But again, Gashi just going to be trying to split push as this Victor. I'd like to see him getting more involved again. Just getting that ultimate, getting that extra AP damage coming through, and no one is here to defend just yet. They are going to try to rotate up to get to the T2 in time, but the Herald charging on in. Oh, that catapult's going to be cancelled. Palestine, great use of his ability there, and just like that, it looks like Team Palestine could be in trouble. Skip going to be trying to activate backwards. Walking won't have that Feather Storm to escape just yet, and Yusuf as well is damn low. So there's an angle here for Team Bahrain to clean up shop. Gashi going to be going in, but now it's when it gets scary. Onda going to be playing behind his big carries, his big tanks, and starts to clean up just in time. However, it's Dynamo to finish the kill just then.
Poor old Crunk just TP's in there to his eventual death, lets the rest of the team escape. Very selfless play. Ashbar's kind of hanging around. This hook could connect, so this will be problematic if it does. Dynamo just looking for the knock up first, but ultimately hits the hook. Ashbar can't get out, and now Dragon is on offer for Bahrain. Good passage of play. Gets them back into this discussion. Let's see what Yusuf can do about it. You have Palestine there as well.
That's the thing. Palestine still has that smite advantage, which can be difficult. Uses that ult perfectly to turn it into this 2v2, and it's going to turn around straight away. But again, Palestine so low now. That's going to be the jungler down, so the Drake can certainly be taken. But in the meantime, Skip just dishing out so much damage. There is nothing that Team Bahrain can do. And Dynamo, what are you doing, mate? He's going to be able to get that kill, get that shutdown onto Yusuf. But him against Skip, you never expect the Blix to win that one.
Well, Crunk is on his way as well. So in this 2v2, definitely favouring Palestine. Crunk's keen for it. He's ghosted.
Going, falling. Skip again. Not going to be able to get the root there with the Feather Storm, but it's more than enough to allow Crunk to finish that one off. And Ashbar will take this one away. The ace, it's delayed, but it certainly comes through. And that's going to be the third Dragon in the back pocket for Team Palestine. Playing the macro game again, just that much better than Team Bahrain.
Indeed, Dragon. Easy peasy. That's the third one. And if we take a look at the previous game, that is 7 Dragons to 0 in this matchup for Palestine so far. Bahrain have been very gapped in that department. Now the rest of the jungle is forfeit to Team Palestine as well. Take a look back at the replay here. Nice little ult from Palestine, and does a bit of a number onto Fun. Definitely thought that Yusuf was going to be able to get some resets through here, and he did. He grabbed 2. He would have played a little bit safer and just avoided the R from Dynamo. He would have been healthy enough to probably get the ultimate onto him as well, with a bit of assistance from Skip But either way, still favourable enough for Palestine. Now their attention is going to get turned in the direction of the Baron.
Playing the vision game. There is eyes on everything here. Towards the blue side, blue buff, and Yusuf. Ooh, bait them out. They are going to spot that Troubush ward, but now Fun in trouble. He's going to get chased one down. Panda and Dynamo, they are here to try to turn it around, but it all depends on how much. 155, but he's done a good job to at least shut down Yusuf there. Big damage starting to come through. And Team Palestine doing a lot of execution damage. Palestine, he will fall here for sure. Can Ashbar escape? He's got Skip here as well, so a big amount of damage. There is going to be the Feather Storm online in about 5 more seconds. Ashbar falling. Team Bahrain getting done what they need to. Panda trying to make the read on Skip's position there, but won't be able to find it. And now they're too scared to 1v3 Skip.
Yeah, a couple of these guys starting to get tanky. Obviously, Crunk definitely, but Panda in particular has started to look really difficult to kill for Palestine, the exception being for Skip. And they're still not really playing around Skip at the moment. It just seems like everyone from Palestine is finding the fights themselves.
Yeah.
But if they slow this down and start to play around Skip, they'll have a much better time. Yusuf, not in there to try to deny the Baron in the end.
Thought he was going to throw a hook in there. Seen a couple of objective steals with some good hooks before. Backing on the ward's not a good idea. Oh, that's going to be one miss. Panda going to be jumping straight onto the head of Skip there. Forces out the Feather Storm. That's not going to be used aggressively. Yusuf in the meanwhile going to be able to get that execution, but will get melted. Fun coming through with a huge amount of damage. These barrels have been insane. Fun turning into a win condition.
Yeah, he is just hitting like an absolute truck right now. Those crits are doing a lot of damage. He's got 3 items. He's got the Collector as well. So he's a big threat if you're a squishy target. We saw Yusuf pretty much get one shot by Fun a couple of fights in a row now.
Yeah.
And if he gets on top of Skip, the same thing is going to happen. It's not as easy of a game for Palestine to finish off as the previous. Mountain Soul's going to be really helpful though. It does negate a lot of that effectiveness of the crit plank. If you can't, get those one shots or close to one shots, just because there's an extra bit of armor, magic resist, and the shield on top of it, the Mountain Soul. Pretty important one for Palestine to pick up.
Here in these camps now.
They have the Baron here, Bahrain, so it's important that they use it well. Yusuf, though, has definitely found himself an angle. Great hook and gets the stun as well, but the follow-up's not there.
Yep, the catapult across. He's going to put Panda on the front line, but it's not going to get that knockup that they were looking for. Skip in the meanwhile going to be shredding damage on a Dynamo there. But they're looking for the pick. They're looking for the angle. They're looking to fight together, all 5 here.
In the meanwhile, Crunk, though, pushing in that side lane. He is playing the choose your own adventure at the moment.
Split pushing. Upper Storm does bait those backs out.
Exactly, and that's why Bahrain can't continue to try to force that fight. They have to answer the side lane pressure, which ultimately is a big win for Palestine. They're just bleeding away that Baron timer.
So nothing ends up happening in terms of the kills. Palestine as well. He's going to be looking to chase this one down. It's fun going. Back towards mid here. Yusuf gets caught out in the meanwhile. Greeting for the ward. In a lack of vision. The bush must have been owned by Bahrain there. It looks like owned has still got a huge amount of damage. 11, 5, and 6. Getting a lot of the kills where they need to be for Team Bahrain. You can see that he's evolving all those abilities now. Getting enough items on the board to get extremely dangerous. There's that Rage Blade going. Nashor's Tooth as well. So a little bit of extra AP damage in there on hit. And can start to chunk away these objectives. And now they're going to find a bit more value out of the Baron buff. 10 seconds on the next Drake as well, and that is a Mountain Soul on offer for Team Palestine. Palestine, however, if he gets caught out, that might be the Soul getting lost. TP coming through. Ashbar wants to try to nerf this one down. Proto Belt forward, just trying to dish that damage. Crunk now going to be able to get here just in time, and might be able just to soak up this damage. Onda, the target, he's falling. He'll get executed. Big one coming through from Yusuf there. 3 for Team Palestine. We do see Fun try to turn this one around, but he's not going to be able to get those barrels off in time this time. And now, just like that, it is the full ace coming through. What can Team Palestine get off the back of this one?
Just way too much of a death ball there in the end, and Yusuf with those executes really coming into play early in that fight.
tank it.
Skip wasn't really involved in that fight until the back end, but
They win.
they can actually end right here, Mac. 15 seconds left on the respawn for the Blitzcrank. He's not going to do anything about it. 15 for the Kaiser now, and they're already hitting those Nexus towers. I think the game is over.
It's over. It's over. They can do it. They're rushing the base. They're rushing the Nexus. And Team Palestine realize they're able to do it. Dynamo can't do a thing. Yeah, you've grabbed one of them, but it's just going to be a handshake in the